is. Are we live? We are live, ladies and gentlemen. And now, hang on, we are almost at the magic noon hour. And I have a special treat just for you. Here it is. And here it is. And guys, we'll finish that up at a later time. Nothing. Nobody does sarcasm and makes a point like Randy Newman, do they? Anyway, how's everybody today? This is Abby Kaufman, your somewhat semi savvy, politically minded host on the Abby Kaufman Show at democracyradionetwork.com. And we are coming to you live and in color from our secret undisclosed location on Newport Harbor in Newport Beach, California. And we're hoping everybody has a decent start to the Wednesday. And before we get started, a few people I want to mention, I always try to mention at the top of the program, uh, we try to keep our fingers on every political race that we can. And right now we're pretty hyper local focused. And there are a couple of candidates I want to mention in particular. Ada Briseno from District 67, she deserves our support. She's a proven leader, winner, just and on top of all that, she is one of the designated people that the Trump entities have decided to take on with artificially produced videos that they pretty much malign Ada's character, and the reason they malign Ada's character is because they can't argue the merits of her positions because she has the right position. And how about let's mention Ruth Hatchett in Fullerton, running for school board. Those are the kind of things that shape communities. So, well, shout out to Ruth Hatchett, uh, Giovanni Chavez. Oh gosh, who else? Local council people, Dr. Kelly Brown, District 3, and Kara Stewart, District 5. I might have those reversed, but Costa Mesa City Council candidates, Dr. Kelly Brown and Kara Stewart. And let's see, Ruth Hatchett, Giovanni Chavez, Benjamin Vasquez. I was telling Benjamin the other day, I said, you don't need to be a Benjamin. We need to get you a Benjamin. So he kind of liked that. And we'll do our best to support his candidacy. And but Ada is the really important candidate and race to me. And, while they're all important, Ada's just proven there's not, she's the American dream, the American success story. And I say that's why they try to tear her down personally, because they can't do it on her positions. Her positions are the right ones. So Ada Briseno, District 67, vote, donate, do whatever you can. And let's make a point with this one, please. Let's send Ada back and to this end, let's send her off with a landslide would be nice. Why don't we try to show the current orange tinged subhuman who's absent intelligence? That's AI, absent intelligence. And let's make a statement. We don't want your garbage anymore, pal. This the latest Jim Comey thing. Just while I'm pontificating. Now, I'm hoping and trusting that everyone has seen this. If they haven't, let me just explain to you briefly. On a North Carolina beach on vacation, uh, Comey in the sand or something drew 86/47, which, if you were to believe the Trump administration, constitutes a death threat on the president, an immediate death threat on the president of the United States at the hands of Jim Comey. Now, if that stretches your the bounds of what you can believe, that's just how upside down these guys have made it. We are almost completely disoriented because of these guys. And, anybody can deal with one thing here, one thing there, but these guys just have mountains of corruption evidence daily. And this is, people obviously voted for Trump knowing he would have the ability, and he campaigned on this, to bring the entire weight of the United States federal government down on one person, and not exactly in a just way. Just, you had to offend the guy. That was the crime. Offending, the king. And while we're talking about the king, and I'm going to kind of segue into this, the New York Times, I always, like I say, look at try to find out what's going on, look at the Times and the Financial Times. And the big picture on the front page of the New York Times, where they usually have either really happy photos or photos of just utter devastation. Anyway, this was something like, Charles addressing the joint session of Congress to, bipartisan delight or whatever it was. And the point was crystal clear. And the point is Trump's inadequacy as a leader vis-a-vis relative to other world leaders. And I mean, the King Charles does not lead England in any way as Prime Minister Keir Starmer in the Parliament, House of Lords, House of Commons. But that's, okay. So you've got Keir Starmer, Macron, Merz from France, Meloni in Italy. I forgot the Prime Minister in Australia, but let's see, Merz in Germany, Meloni, Macron. I forgot who's in Spain. But anyway, if you were to sit down and talk to any one of these leaders, they have thoughtful, informed thoughts and opinions on which they weigh the competing views to come up with the best decision possible. Now, let's say you had those four guys playing cards. Let's say you had Macron and Merz and Starmer and who else can we throw in there? Macron and Meloni and okay, well those are four. And let's say you needed a fifth. But you needed a fifth that was, I think it was those gamblers called like the mark or the target. And let's say you want to pick a guy that, you could beat fairly easily. Would you pick a 79-year-old man in cognitive decline? Hell yeah. I mean, he's clearly beatable. So, next to those guys, they just, they fill the room, and Trump just seems to make it really small. And, when everything's about you, it does kind of get kind of small. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this funny reminds me of a dog peeing on everything to mark his territory. I mean, you don't, you get the president of the United States, if that matters, if you have any conception of what that involves. Just because you were there before and, and had some vague idea what was going on, doesn't mean that you're like the same sharp guy now because you were never the sharp guy then. And I gotta tell you, I love this no end. I love when you can't count on a stupid or incompetent person to hire somebody smart. They just, they're incapable. And so what do? They hire stupid people or people unlikely to get the desired results because they're inadequately trained. So it always cracks me up when he sends Witkoff and Jared Kushner to negotiate a nuclear agreement with Iran, when I don't think those guys know a whole lot about nuclear stuff. Just me, but I don't. I'm betting that on the finer points of negotiation, I hate God on a limb, but I bet on the finer points of negotiation, they don't have a clue. And I have it on authority that the Iranians, and keep on, they're a really smooth diplomatic negotiating team, right? These aren't a bunch of yahoos from the Middle East pulling up on camels. These guys have been around the block. Uh, so when you pull around the block, yeah. So I said, when you send the Jared and Witkoff off to to the nuclear negotiations, who do you think's more likely to win? Do you think it's going to be the well-oiled machine that's been doing this for years that Iran has, or would you put your money on two American yahoos who don't know anything about real estate? I think, again, I hate to cut on a limb, but it looks to me as though we're in a great position to get snookered, or like my old friend Bobby Howell would call it, bupkis. And bupkis is no, I'm sorry, I keep doing this. He used to say bupkis, but then bupkis became skadukas. So Bobby didn't get skadukas. And if Bobby didn't get skadukas, oh man, you might not want to be around when that old bill got paid. Okay, so Trump on the world stage. How insane is that? You had the stupidest person on the face of the earth who just so happens to have won an election that made him the most powerful man on the earth. And it seems like all of Trump's prescriptions in the form of policies, economic policies, are just screwing us. Everybody, every class, if you're not a billionaire paper trader, Trump doesn't really know you exist. So he's pretty happy about, cutting people's food stamps and, and does anybody remember those pictures where he wasn't Jesus? He might have looked like Jesus, but he wasn't Jesus. He was a doctor. He was a medicine man. And, the more I thought about it, the more he's right. He's a medicine man selling snake oil just like they did way back when. And he just hopes to move on from the grift to the next town to grift. But he's running up against a real problem here in that he can't hide. He used to have guardrails of people that would kind of hide things, but he's just kind of exposed now. People still try to take up for him, but they can read the handwriting on the wall. And let me ask you this. At what point do Republicans start hurting bad enough right down to the school board, to the state assembly, to city council? At what point do Republicans hurt enough that they walk away? I don't know. They've got a pretty high tolerance for pain, but they see the time horizon that everybody else sees, 2026 and 2028. And, like I say, the cheating, isn't going to start in 2026 and it's not going to stop in 2028. It's what these guys, for some reason, this is what they're just genetically wired to do. I've never experienced a movement based around cheating and lies spread so quickly among decent people. And they spread. The reason lies spread is because they're repeated. And I love telling the story, so I'll tell it one more time. I was in the grocery store the other day, and I used to go to the old gym in Corona Del Mar, and it was an older, kind of established neighborhood gym. And, everybody was doing well but me. And they were all extremely right-wing. So then I hurt my back and started going to another gym because they had a sauna. So I see one of the guys from the old gym, and he says, "Hey, Norman, how you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing well." And he says, I still can't get over that 2020 elections you guys stole. I'm like, you want to try that again? And so the guy kind of repeats the same thing. And I said, Gary, man, I gotta tell you, I can't really talk to you anymore. I can't be your friend. And he kind of looked at me. I'm like, and I just want to say, you're effing delusional, pal. You're believing something that is not true. You're believing something that's been proven in courts of law 60 something times. You guys had 60 times to put up some sort of evidence that this might have happened. And you guys didn't do it. Okay? And if you still want to believe in that, that's kind of delusional. And on top of that, it's just being a dumbass. That's like I can prove to you that the earth is round and you can believe it's flat all you want, pal, but I'm going to go with the round ball kind of theory. Because if I don't, that would make me a delusional dumbass. But we don't have that problem, do we? We have the Republican delusional dumbass problem. And, Gavin Newsom, I think, is a great individual, a fine guy, imperfect as we all are, but I would take him any day of the week. And, Newsom tends to fight fire with fire. And my thought is, I would fight fire with everything I had. Fight fire with fire. Fight fire with water. Do whatever you can. And let's just kind of torch Trump and let him. I could say let him move on, but he won't move on. He's got kids and a delusion of grandeur that apparently Napoleon didn't quite have. I mean, Napoleon's arch was pretty small, all things considered. You didn't really expect Trump's arch to be so big. But then again, sometimes he of limitless ignorance has limitless ignorance. Oh, I love those things. Okay, so let's take a start with old Gannett, New York Times. See what we got here. Okay, how about this? Jimmy Kimmel makes a joke about Melania. Now, keep in mind, this is after her husband threatened to wipe out an entire civilization. Did you hear me? Threatened to wipe out an entire civilization. Why? Because they pissed him off. So he threatens to annihilate a civilization. But Melania complains because Kimmel suggests that she could be an expectant widow instead of an expectant mother. Maybe funny, maybe not. Whatever it is, clearly not. It doesn't warrant bringing the FCC in to investigate ABC's licenses and their diversity policies because a comedian made a joke. I mean, no one's telling Trump that that's just going to add to the worthless POS reputation. And by the way, it's a deserved reputation as a worthless POS. It's not like we're making any of this up. One of my favorite things is, the medicine man looked like Jesus and the snake oil and all that. I mean, it's enough to make you wonder if Trump University was real. Wasn't? Anybody have a Trump University diploma that they might have celebrated by having a Trump steak dinner? Or they might have had some sort of entertainment by playing their Trump chips and Les Paul. Or, you know what? But they wouldn't know when to go. They would have to look down and use their Trump watches. Huh. And, I bet when he was on TV reading Bible the other night, I bet he was reading one of those $59.95 get them while they're hot Trump Bibles. I mean, tell me, guys, what does it take? What's left for you guys to walk away? And I do this every time. Wasn't January 6th enough? Was that like, oh, we want more? That's and you see, that's where you get to the delusional dumbass or the dangerous delusional dumbass territory. Yeah, how about that? The dangerous delusional dumbass. Okay. And it's not like there's a shortage of them either. So anyway, the FCC investigates. Now, why did the FCC investigate? I think Melania complained. Oh, jeez. It's funny how the entitled people feel like they are, they're supposed to be immune from the slights of everyday life. And I'm gonna quote Sarah Palin here. I never get a chance to quote Sarah Palin. But guys, suck it up, Buttercup. Why don't you just try to do something decent? Why don't you try to play by the rules? And the reason is you can't. You're too committed to being a criminal. Um, and a judge has to weigh different stories against each other and different witnesses against each other, and he has to decide who's telling the truth. Now, on the other hand, if you don't have if you have a jury, then these 12 people have to agree that this happened, and it does or does not constitute the crime of, and then the judge sets the punishment. So it's it's a fairly decent system until you start messing with it. And Trump is just incapable of anything other than destruction. Just pathologically incapable. I mean, you've got to think that the whole family has some recessive gene somewhere that cause some mental friction. This is things like firing on all cylinders. Let's say they're maybe firing on every third cylinder, every other cylinder, whatever it is. They ain't firing on all cylinders. And if they need help, then we should actually let them buy it. They're wealthy enough. Oh, and I tell you, how about I wish I was down to my last $300-400 million. So Trump just bulldozed part of the White House in the middle of the night, and everybody's fine with that. Okay, bulldozed part of the White House, and then he says, "Well, I'm going to have a big ballroom because people have been wanting one since 1867." I didn't know that. Ballroom, 1867. Who knew? You see, most of the time when guys want a ballroom, they just go up buy a bigger size of underwear. That's how most guys get a ballroom. But this guy wants something that dwarfs the entire White House as it is, which will in turn be dwarfed by his 250-foot triumphal arch that, strange enough, we got along well without for about 10 or 50 years. I mean, the guy's just a lunatic obsessed with himself. And believe me, when it hits home, it's not going to be pretty. And I just can't wait to see at what point the Republicans start cutting their losses. You don't have to be what's that old thing? You don't have to be a weatherman and know which way the wind is blowing. Well, I don't think you have to be a weatherman to figure out what's coming. Like I said, the primaries out here in California are June the 2nd, and the elections, November 3rd or 6th, something like that. But, you can see how this is shaping up. Will Republicans stay home? Who will they nominate? Will they nominate JD, Marco, Donald Jr., Eric? You know what I mean? The list is pretty small. And on the other hand, the Democrats, we just have an abundance of talent. God, that's an abundance of riches in the candidate department. And I'm talking from school board, local assembly, Ruth Hatchett, Ada Briseno, all the way on up to, what's the highest office, I guess, be Senate in that election. Now, California's also got that interesting governor's race thanks to Eric Swalwell. And you know something? Sometimes there are just certain rules you need to play by. And one of them is You don't dip your pen in company ink. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? I'm sure everybody gets that analogy. If you don't dip your pen in company ink, your pen should be pretty clean, right? No marks against you. Uh, I get, guys and sex and all that stuff. And, I mean, it's, you can buy, you can rent, I mean, whatever it is. I'm sure there's tons of, services available in Washington, or Sacramento, available to anybody with low money, much less a politician with low money. So yeah, why guys do this, I will never know. I mean, it's just, you know so much uh, nicer if you just kind of, do it in private, and just go about your business. You don't need to molest people or force people to do things that they don't want to do. Okay. Eric, we have no idea how things are going to turn out, but I mean, if you were good enough for Adam Schiff, you were good enough for me. And then, you know, then I had to learn that you did dip your pen in company ink, which is just like one of those unforgivable, instantly fireable offenses. The worst thing that all that does is just shows such a complete lack of judgment in a really crucial moment. Uh, you need, as a politician these days, you need to be aware 24/7, not only of your environment, but the environment that others are creating around you, and make sure that squares with your campaign goals. If it does, great. If it doesn't, change something. Uh, but the only thing you need to change is if you pick up the phone and give us a call at 949-629-3820, and let us know what's going on in your world. I don't know about you, but I paid $6.89 for gasoline yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead and round that up to $7 a gallon. Now that would mean that let's see, $7 a gallon. That would mean that my $100 fill up is now up to like 135 or 140 from 125. And guys, I don't drive anywhere. That's like a tank a week in my 20-year-old car. So it's not like I'm, vacationing down Pacific Coast Highway or anything. But anyway, let's keep going here. How about Comey, another Supreme Court stuff? Those guys just suck. Oh, how about UAE leaving OPEC? The United Arab Emirates, some of the big daddies in the game are leaving OPEC. And why are they leaving OPEC? Well, because they want to pump a little more oil, make a little more money than OPEC wants them to make, because OPEC wants long-term price stability. They don't want these huge boom or bust cycles. But you guessed it. But by leaving, they get to produce whatever they want, as much or as little. If they produce as much as they want, prices could go down. They don't produce a whole lot, prices could go up. It's just another one of those impossible either-or situations that Trump's incompetence has led us into. See, not only does the SOB not appreciate the direct consequences of his actions, as he is completely ignorant as to the unintended consequences of his action. And you know something? He don't want to know. He don't care. If you think Donald Trump cares about you, well, I tell you, if you think Donald Trump cares about you, the first visit to the psychiatrist is on me. How about that? Yeah, I think we need to start making that like a standard deal here. If you believe such and such, then you get a free visit to the psychiatrist office. Anybody like that? Anybody like that idea? If you do, give us a call at 949-629-3820 and tell old Ab your thoughts. I said We'd like to hear how much you paid for gas recently. I said that $6.87 rounded up to $6.88 uh, was a little unexpected. And of course, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And you know why? Because it ain't going to get any better. Because Trump has not one whit of an idea what to do. And, I want to kind of go back a second. And when you ignore the relevant facts and circumstances, I think that makes you ignorant. I don't want to go on a limb, but this is just basic communication, and we just suck. We have to lay back and let those other guys do it. Oh, well, I can't say whoa to me, but geez Louise. Okay, let's check some old headlines while we're flood OPEC. Oh, they got a little thing on Bellevue Mental Hospital. It's kind of morbid. We don't really need to go there with that. Let's see, Cuba's faltering. We got that. How about this? Unfazed by war and taxes, Russians draw the line at the internet. So you can have whatever it is, you can take whatever it is, but when you start denying internet access, that's when we need to put our foot down. Just want to make sure I'm hearing that clearly, but sometimes you just gotta laugh at it all. But and let's say if you want to have a laugh, give us a call 949-629-3820 and tell us what's going on in your world. Let's see here. Oh, and how about this? In just a few months, China changes or converts a reef into a military naval base. Not a big one, but there was one there before. And so where did China get the right to take this thing? Well, you know why they took it? Because they could take it. They did it. Help you. What are you going to do? And the answer is we need to start coming up with better responses. And, I keep saying that we don't have the power to do much because we're in the minority. And guys, in case you don't know this, parties that are in the minority usually don't get skadukas. I know you thought I would say bupkis, but they don't even get skadukas. They'd be lucky to get bupkis. You know how lucky they'd be to actually get bupkis, like real bupkis? But no, these guys don't even get bupkis. They have to settle for skadukas. And, it's not a good day when Bobby Howe has to settle for skadukas. But I digress for a second. Only because those guys are just so funny. And let's see here. Oh, let's see. War on taxes, the Ruskies, Charles. Let's see. Turns reef into base. Oh, and how about this? As strikes ramp up in the Middle East and Iraq, Trump starts sending more boats to the Caribbean. It's like the guy, it's like an kid with ADD. He's doing something, and it's like, oh, look, a squirrel. And he just looks away and it's calling for concentration to call, and it's reimagined on the squirrel. He's just, and I'm going to submit at that point, you're not firing on all cylinders. And I don't know if any 79-year-old really does fire on all cylinders, but clearly in this guy, and it clearly isn't this guy because of people lying about it. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. So yeah, 8647 means like, a call to arms. And, it's just lying. It's not a misstatement. It's not a claim. It's not an assertion. It's a lie. And the sooner we call it that, I think the better we can all be. I mean, you agree out there? If you do, give us a call, 949-629-3820, and let us know what's going on. What do you think about all this? Should we lock him up? Does that phrase sound familiar? You know, and those guys don't belong in jail. They belong like under the jail. I mean, they're just blatantly screwing Americans in public and daring the country to do something, and the country won't do anything. Why? Because his guys run the country. Why do they run the country? Well, has to do with votes, and you guys voted more that way. Even though, even though you were told that Kamala would show up with a to-do list and Trump would show up with a retribution list. Yeah, it's not like Trump hid the ball. He might have hid the ball saying, "Oh, he's a anti-war, loves peace kind of guy," but the evidence just belies that. And if the evidence belies it, that usually makes you what did you say? Yes, what? A liar. And that's not cool. I mean, credibility is everything. What if you found out the Bible was just like, a work of fiction and nobody believed it to be true? They just thought it was a book you were reading, right? See how quickly things can change depending on who starts the lies and who repeats them. But here at the Democracy Radio Network.com, we will never steer you wrong. These are our new stickers, and we invite you to send us an email. We'll drop on the mail to you. Silence is compliance. Shout louder. You talk, and we listen, and that's the deal we make. As we do this, we get a little better each time. And I figured out that I have to not touch my coffee or barely touch my coffee for the first hour. And I can only start drinking it into the second hour because that way it at least guarantees that my throat will be okay for the second hour. And I want that, little Starbucks thing we've been known to do every now and then since I do have a kind of a scratchy throat these days. But anyway, I have been known, believe it or not, with my official mug. I have been known to go to Starbucks and give them my official mug and ask them for I think their smallest thing is called a tall. Oh, by the way, there's a stunningly beautiful woman that comes in, or used to come in every morning. And she was a tall blonde, and I would love to order one of her up every morning. But anyway, I've been known to order a tall blonde in a large to medium cup with 1 sugar and leave a lot of room in the cup, please. Oh, sir, why would you need a little room? Well, just got to trust me on that. So you go back over to your table, you pop the top a little bit, you look around, you crack this top on that Jameson's Irish whiskey. And then what do? You dump it in your good old tall blonde, and then you sit there for a minute. And you actually really enjoy your coffee. Matter of fact, you might enjoy your coffee so much you might have another one depending on how many mini bottles you have. If I remember those mini bottles from the airline days. Oh, my friend's mom used to be a really nervous flyer. So she would have, like a case of these mini bottles lying around so she could always have half a dozen to take to the airport. So Miss James gets to the airport and has a seat, first class because they were the James. And Mrs. James starts pulling out the vodka bottles, and she has maybe 3 or 4 within, I don't know, 30 seconds of sitting down. At that point, you realize, oh, this could be an okay flight. Mrs. James clearly ain't worried, so the rest of us will be free to have a good time. Wish those old sailing buddies were back. And along those lines, I ought to give a shout out to my old buddy Rick Henniger. I couldn't have been more. Couldn't have been more devastated to see anybody go. I reckon I spent a lot of time together on a lot of boats, and he was a really good, fine man. So we hope Leslie and the boys are doing well. And I should also give a shout out to the deli counter at Sprouts on 17th Street in Costa Mesa. I go there for a veggie sandwich a couple of times a week just because it's a steady sandwich. I know exactly what it is. It's reasonable. And these guys make the best sandwiches for $5 I've ever had. So a quick shout out to the woman at the deli at Sprouts, including, I don't want to leave out Anna. Anna is a really kind woman who, whenever Anna makes my sandwich, it's always a little better. I don't know what she puts in it, but it's always a little better. Uh, and let's see what else we can do to make things better for us. Strikes in the Caribbean. Oh, and how about this? Could have knocked me over with a feather. Trump is dissatisfied with the Iranian plan to open the Strait of Hormuz. And the truth of the matter is, he's never satisfied with anything unless it involves putting his name on something. Oh, that was a siren going by. Huh. Hope everybody's okay. So, yeah, unless it involves putting his name on it, he's dissatisfied. I mean, how do you please someone like that? I kind of think you put him, you outvote him and put him out of their misery, but that's clearly wishful thinking. He's not on the ballot till 2026 or his legacy. And in the meantime, it's just it's just a fight, a rough bare knuckle fight for every Democrat vote. And why people don't think more highly of the Democratic Party, I'll never know. I mean, we're not perfect, but my God, we try to feed people. We recognize that some of the things Jesus said and that form the basis for Christianity are fairly decent things. And if you were to ask me what they were, I would start by saying, well, I kind of think that if somebody was hungry, I kind of think Jesus fed them. And I kind of think if somebody didn't have a place to stay, Jesus would find them a place to stay. And so on and so forth. Trying to show the really good parts of mankind and humanity. But again, when you have an ignorant mindset as the orange tinged orangutan subhuman being, you just got to go. Got to go. Oh, what's that old, anybody remember Mississippi Fred McDowell? Nobody? I remember Mississippi Fred McDowell. And Mississippi Fred McDowell's big song was, guess what? You gotta move. You gotta move. You got to move. You got to move, child. You got to move. But when the law, get ready. You gotta move. You make me high. You make me low. You make me rich, child. Don't make me poor. But when the law, get ready. You gotta move. How about that one too by Mississippi Fred? I'm kind of shocked that went as well as it did. And we have been on the air for 45 minutes as we close in on 12:45 at the Abby Kaufman Show on the DemocracyRadioNetwork.com. We are your home for Democrats, liberals, and progressive thinkers. Silence is compliance. Shout louder. Okay, call us. Let us know. Make contact. We'll make contact with you. Just you got to tell us what's going on in the world and how. And your thoughts to the orange-tinged orangutan resembling God knows what creature that gets boned in the ass like an aardvark. That's pretty much the deal, isn't it? Yeah, you can't forget those old aardvarks. Okay. Oh, and this is an astounding headline. Republicans fear major losses in midterm as Trump's reputation slides. Slides? I mean, it's like a bunker busting bomb is burrowing down like you wouldn't believe. And you know what? I'm gonna take a break here and hang on, guys. You know what? Let's play me out. Right on back. And guys, we are back from a quick break. We just need to kind of recharge briefly. It's coming up on 12:45 Pacific time, and that will be 3:45 back east. So if anybody's getting ready to head home, let us know how your day was. Let us know how what do you think about that subhuman orange orangutan that is absent intelligence that gets to make some of the most crucial decisions in the world. I see. I did smart. I kind of kept my coffee till at least now, so we have at least a prayer making it 2 o'clock. Oh, and then we'll see if we get a little work done when we leave here. But this is Abby Kaufman on the DemocracyRadioNetwork.com, the host of the Abby Kaufman Show. And we are the home for Democrats, liberals, and progressive thinkers. And, you talk and we listen. We want to hear what you have to say. I mean, this latest gas increase round seems a little different than usual. When it closed in on $7 a gallon, I knew the next stopping point was $8 or $10 a gallon. And I mean, depending on your economic position, that can add up fairly quickly. I mean, sometimes there is no money left in a family. They budget everything the best way they can, and they may still miss a meal every now and then. And this is America. We don't. How can you be claimed to be a Judeo-Christian nation when you don't follow the Judeo-Christian laws? It astounded me until I realized that it had a name, and its name is hypocrisy, which is don't do as I do as I say. Because don't do as I do because I get special treatment because I am, I'm sure you guys get the point there, but this sort of petty one-upsmanship is not helpful at all as we go into the June 2nd primary. Oh, and another politician I want to give a shout out to is Dave Min. Dave, I met him about 5 years ago. I don't recall how or why. But you meet some people that are just driven and motivated without being obnoxious about it. Well, Dave is not anxious about it. He's motivated. Dave's a bright guy. Dave's a really bright guy. He's got DC experience. We're lucky to have him. We were lucky to have Harley Root a few years back, but things didn't work out well. But with Dave, I'd like to think Dave's got some staying power. God knows we'll be behind him every step of the way. And Dave, if you or your campaign manager listening, feel free to call in anytime. We'll clear the boards for you. 949 So please try to remember and so give us a call every now and then. We'd appreciate it. Oh gosh. And guys, as we approach 12:50, you know what time it is? It is time to go to democracyradionetwork.com and find that PayPal donate button and smash the living daylights out of it. Abby needs some new jeans and shoes in the worst way. So let's get those cards and letters and dollars come. Let's let them start flowing in. And I'm going to quote the Deion Sanders on this. And Dion would always say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Well, he just might know what he's talking about. So anyway, let's kind of have a little reflection on that. You know, caffeine. I used to not like that stuff, but it does have its place. You know, like about now, I'm kind of draggy in the middle of the day, and ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind my day starts at like 4 a.m. With a visit to the gym at the 24-hour fitness at Landing Magnolia in Huntington Beach, and the only reason I use that is well, actually two reasons. Number one, they have a sauna, which helps my back tremendously and gives me a decent way to start the day. And because I had this theory, they close overnight from like 9 to 5 in the morning or something like that. And supposedly they do that so they can like clean. And whether they actually clean or not, it's an entirely different question, but that's the goal. So if I'm there when they open and I go through my sauna routine, I can be one of the first ones in or out of the in and out of the gym, right? And I know that it's clean when I go to the shower after the sauna. I know it's a clean gym because there's nobody used it before me. If I came back in an hour, God knows how many people might have used it. So there's if you want things absolutely clean, there's ways to do it. It's usually hugely inconvenient, but there are ways to do it. And while we're observing the the financial catastrophe that Donald Trump can be, how about that? It's I swear sometimes I wonder if the stock market isn't somehow afraid of Donald Trump. I mean, it should not be where it is, even though these AI runs into the trillions of dollars. That just makes it that much more volatile. So we just gonna have to hang in there, and I have no idea where this stops. I mean, theoretically, it could stop with the end of human civilization, but I would hope there's at least one or two redundancies built in before that stage. Let's hope that's not wishful thinking. I tell you what, I'm going to tease the 1 o'clock hour. Coming up at 1 o'clock, we'll give you the view from London via the Financial Times. Let's and you'll be able to see the same. There's a few common themes that creep in: war and oil prices. I mean, that's Beijing. And let's make the point again. Donald Trump is 79 years old in cognitive decline. And he's going to go chat with President Xi, who's a pretty, healthy, strong, intelligent guy. So Trump loses out on this one. And that's what you need to do. You need to send Trump to to deal with stupid people, so this team won't get so badly snookered. When you send ignorant people that are ignorant to the details, you can't be surprised that you get an ignorant agreement. Uh, but again, that's the hypocrisy. If I do it, it's great. If your guy does it, then I think he ought to be, hung, drawn, and quartered. Just on the other side of that window of theirs, Newport Harbor, and I don't think there's very many people using the harbor today. It's another one of those harbors where the majority of boats never leave the dock. And see, that's what makes me such a good boat owner. Is if I have one, it always leaves the dock. I mean, I'll sail it 5 days. I'll race it 5 days in a row if I can. A little help's always nice, and little female crew always smells a little better. So, but anyway, we've got time for sailing. We have an election to win. Actually, we have two elections to win. We have the primary on May 2nd, and we have the general in November. And it is incumbent upon us to vote Democrat, Democrat, and more Democrat, all the way from school board Ruth Hatchett to Assembly Ada Briseno, to whoever you think by governor. I mean, this is California really getting to flex its muscle at a really opportune time. I still wish I would hear a little more from Gavin Newsom, but yeah, I know he's trying to squeeze in an entry into the presidency, and he deserves it. These guys, not only do they try to make things better, they do make things better. And when people make things better, then they deserve to be recognized. I'm such a simpleton, right, guys? I'm going to assume that there's still some. Before we leave the New York Times completely, let's skip ahead to the opinion section. And what are some of the relevant editorials? The first was we'll be paying for the Trump's war for a long time. The first 6 days cost $11 billion, $11.3 billion, which is more or less $2 billion a day. Does that strike anybody spending a lot of money? And how about those Tomahawk missiles and those XYZ missiles and the air defense thing that you guys are just dropping like flies on, against a superior force? How do you do that? And the truth is, you guys suck. And you can be in retreat mode until you get out of retreat mode. So, we don't expect Russia to stand by, and we'll be very surprised. Guys, I'm going to take another few minutes here. All right, guys, we're back for the second hour. It's 1 p.m. Pacific time, and we want to just check in and let everybody know what's going on this smooth Wednesday afternoon, April 29th, 2026. So yeah, we need caffeine and sugar and all that stuff to stay awake. And but I'm still puzzled. I had the exact wrong thing for lunch. If I would have waited and had the spaghetti dinner, the all you can eat spaghetti dinner, I would have a spaghetti and salad and a couple pieces of garlic bread. But I was gonna have a pig, and I'm not really sure if I want a whole lot of stuff left over. I mean, this could be like a mountain of spaghetti, and God knows I'm not into like a mountain of spaghetti. Mm. And, I meant to tell you, so kind of aside from all that, I get a call from my brother, and he tells me he fell down off the joist or something he was working on, and that he is coming back from the ER or the hospital that he went to in Forsyth, Georgia, uh, because he dislocated his shoulder. And as he's describing this thing out of joint and all that, I'm like, and I think I've seen one or two of those, and it just looks painful. I mean, oh my God. And my brother really, gets sick or anything. So, why in the world they give him ketamine for pain? I'll never know. I mean, my thought is, I don't want a drug if it's less than 50 years old. I want something that's been around the block. I don't want I don't want to be the new guy asking for something because the pharmaceutical manufacturer decided to market directly to me instead of my doctor. I mean, I don't want to be there and ask the doctor some kind of newfangled whatever it is. Give me the old stuff. It may not be perfect, but it doesn't kill people. And that's kind of the option of the game is like to stay alive these days. So give us a call if you get any experience with this. 949-629-3820. I am Abby Kaufman, your somewhat politically savvy or your somewhat semi-politically savvy host, and we are here on the Democracy Radio Network, democracyradionetwork.com, and we'll be back in 60 seconds. And we're back. We just had a little yawn coming. We didn't want to do that exactly on air. We want to be as professional as possible. And what we really wanted to hear from you, 949-629-3820, and tell us what's going on. I paid $7 for gas. What'd you pay? Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't take long at $7 a gallon to like make a difference. I mean, if you could afford it at 5, that doesn't automatically say you can afford it at 7. So let's pay a little attention here. See if we can't pick it up a little, guys. And you know what we could do? We could play a little more Randy Newman. How about a little Randy Newman? Don't want to hurt no kangaroo. Yeah, baby. Surfing too? Boom, boom. More room for you and more room for me. South of Bangor, the whole world round will just be another American town. Oh, yes, oh, it could be. Nobody free. Japanese kimono, baby. Italian shoes for me. So anyhow, So let's drop the big one now. Let's drop the big one now. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the popular stylings of Randy Newman. Thanks, Randy. Nobody does sarcasm quite like Randy Newman. And you are welcome to come back on the show anytime, Randy. Moving right along to some of these other races. Now, the governor's race is always interesting to me. And like it's always interesting to me because of the sheer number of people that want to be governor and the amount of space it takes up in the election guide. I swear, I think that maybe 30 of the 50 pages were for governor. And I think then it's like, a page and a half for lieutenant governor and, so on and so forth. So everybody wants to be the top banana. The second spot might be a good, introductory spot. But yeah, let's try to be smart about this election, guys. We've got to play by the rules, even when they don't, and we have to be ready to pounce on them. Just pounce. Let's hope there's no violence. Would you be surprised at this point, especially way the president feels about wiping out entire civilizations? Apparently, that's something he would have no problem with. Is that not staggering? He would wipe out an entire civilization and not give it a second's thought. That's scary. That's dispassionate. That's ignorant. I cannot. Words cannot express the depth of the damage that has to happen psychologically for a person to be like that. Somehow I'm gonna. Oh, you know what I could do? I could buy another coffee cup of some sort and use that. And that way, when I leave Starbucks in the morning, I can get 2 refills instead of just a refill in here. And 2 refills might do a little something towards helping me get through the second and maybe third hours. But truth matters, sometimes the second hour is about all we're good for. Especially talking like this, I'm not. This isn't what I do, so I'm a little rusty at it. So let's see what else. Oh, and there was an article, an editorial about the church's defense, or the church is standing up to Trump. And what's happening there is it's just everything Trump is doing is so corrupt that he can't hide it. And the Pope, religions have an obligation to call out when people use others and abuse them for whatever reason, whether it's sex or war or anything. We'd really like to put a stop to that. I keep wondering what would happen if we all kind of, turned Australian and just, started wearing shorts and really didn't, debate very much. But the truth of the matter is, Australia is getting to be a pretty sick place. How the, and anti-Semitism has always baffled me. And it's always baffled me because we know exactly who killed Jesus. It was the Romans. Why didn't the Jews? The Romans. Why aren't you guys pissed off at them? Whenever someone tells me Jesus died for my sins on the cross, I'm like, no, I kind of think he died because he pissed off some old Roman guy. I didn't have anything to do with it. Much like the Donald Trump defense with Stormy Daniels. And God bless her soul, or bless her heart, whatever you want to say. she's now touring the country as a comedian. And, stripper turned comedian, what the heck? Who's the judge, right? And, and of course, Stormy tells a story about testifying in the Trump trial. And she's on the witness stand, and, she's being asked if Trump's penis has any distinct characteristics, and, what's it look like? How is his performance in bed? All this stuff. And she's answered the question. Red underwear, he sucked in bed, all this stuff. So then Trump has to give his side of the story. He can either say something like, oh, she's lying, or I wasn't there then, or, whatever it was. But instead of all those things, Trump says, after she's describing his underwear and his penis shape and his sexual performance, after she's doing all that, what's Trump's defense? Never saw her before in my life. Now, I think if you're a parent and have to judge whether a child is telling the truth or not, you can pretty well bet assured that's not the truth Trump's telling. And then he wonders why he gets ripped for it, because you're a liar, sometimes you just a leopard doesn't change his spots. And, we know we're on to you this time, pal. So you better try your damnedest damage before 2026, because we are going to be there in force to stop you. Yeah, this is the Trump era. I think you can say however you define the Trump era. It's outlasted its usefulness. And whenever something has outlasted its usefulness, it's time for it to go, right? And we just want it to go. Please just go. And let's take a quick look here and see if they... oh, how about that? The Dow is down like 0.5%. Why is completely cratering? And the reason it's not completely cratering is because there's still some semblance of life there. And, there's an old saying that the market can be irrational longer than you can stay liquid. So what do? You become a real short-term guy and look at what's going on from day to day. And that is a recipe for disaster for major world economies like ours. Or like ours used to be. And how about, is anybody starting to miss all those research grants and people that, Trump just kind of chopped off without any regards like what they did? Or worse yet, when he did give a regard what they did, if they did something that would help women or somebody else, he just, he 86'd it. See, again, that's hypocrisy. Trump can 86 something, it's no big deal. But if you 86 Trump, you've issued a death threat against the president of the United States. The guy's just a delusional dumbass. I try to be polite, but I swear that's about as polite as old Ab can go. Oh, you know what? We keep sorry about that, guys. We didn't. I was looking at the financial markets and didn't have the camera back on me. And now the camera is back on me. Give us a call, 949-629-3820, and let us know what's going on in your world. What's when's the last time you had a steak? Do you eat steak? Is it $30 a pound now when you buy the steak? I mean, I thought that used to be what they charge in a restaurant. I didn't know it's what they, what it costs you to go to the grocery store. And, guys, people may not deserve much in this world, but in a Judeo-Christian nation, people deserve to be treated according to those values. And When you can imagine just the goodness it would take to love everybody as your brother or your sister. I mean, I just can't imagine being that good or that nice. So I always have to work at it. And, in a way that's kind of fun. And that's not emotional development. I don't know what is. Ugh. I have no idea why I had that little allergy post nasal drip thing that just will not stop, and it's not stopping. And your old host, Abby Kaufman, is dealing with some uh, drainage issues, I guess you could say. And we just might go down and try to get those pills. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Hang on just a second, and I'm going to attend to the call of nature. And you know what? Oh, let's add a. How about how about a comment? How about be right back? Nature. Nature calls. Okay. Okay, that's good. Let's put the old shoe on and go down and see if we can get some of uh, those decongestants. Uh, All right, there, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we have a special treat for you coming up. Let's get the old medicine down the throat. And now we'll see if we can't be a little entertaining for you guys. How about that? Well, all right. Got those decongestants down the hatch. Now let's see what we can do to make this pick a little more functional. Be kind of nice. I think we're just about there. Blow the old nose. And we have a new cable to see how that works. So let's take how about the glasses off, and let's put this here. And let's see about this thing. Okay. That, ladies and gentlemen, should be the input, or like my mother would say, the inputs is. And yeah, while we're talking about politics, it's kind of nice to have a guitar in your lap anyway. And let's see, Financial Times. How about this? BYD dented by rise of China rivals. That's great. Iran war prompts U.S. drivers got back on driving. Uh, Rivian Chiefs $405 million payday. I still don't know people seeing that thing, but it's not up to me, is it? It's probably not up to me to rock very, very hard, but this is kind of what we got left. So, guys, I said we really do need to ramp up this voter stuff. It's 1:36 on Wednesday, and how about this? As King Charles is in the Oval Office, somebody likes to leak that the special relationship isn't between the United States and the UK anymore. The special relationship is now between the United States and Israel. Um, that's problematic in a whole lot of areas. The best thing we can do is vote Democrat. And, not only is it a matter of voting Democrat, it's a matter of voicing your displeasure, whether it's at the No Kings, whether it's calling into this show, 949-629-3820, Democracy Radio Network, the Abby Kaufman Show, and let us know what's going on. I mean, we've got to, these guys really need to be sent packing. We need to make a statement. It's all hands on deck. It might be, nice and sunny outside, but the truth of the matter is the United States is in the middle of a very turbulent storm, being led by idiots. That was all. I mean, things weren't great before, but things weren't like this either. And when the rest, when you berate the rest of the world, as the Trump administration continually does, I don't know what they think that does besides alienate people. And that generally that's not the way to proceed, if you know what I mean. We want progress, don't we? Do you want to regress? Do you want to go backwards? Do you want to go backwards to the good old days before aspirin and penicillin? And will you buy the snake oil to get there? Of course you will. And you know why? Well, let's just say there's a reason Trump loves the uneducated. I hardly ever see a really bright person enroll in Trump University. And those really bright people, they probably don't order Trump steaks. Who knows? They might not even read the Trump $60, $59.95 Bible. I mean, do they play the $2,500 Chinese Gibson? They call it Chibson Les Pauls with Trump's name on it. And you know something? There's no doubt in my mind that Trump can outplay Les Paul and Chet Atkins with the one hand tied behind his back. Okay? If he's so inclined to show us this, that would be really nice. Apparently, there's an old story about about a local studio guy in New York City having a teaching seminar at Manny's Music House, and anybody who's been in New York knows about Manny's. And they see this black guy kind of looking at the amps. He's got a pink shirt on and bell bottoms, and the guy didn't pay much attention to him and starts treating him a little poorly, like, hey, you back there looking at the amps. You come here to play. And, Hendrix is just trying to look at the amps. Nah, man, just look at the amps. And the guy just gets it under his skin. Hendrix gets under this guy's skin. And he says, well, why don't you come up here and play a little something for us? And the instructor says something like, I was getting ready to demonstrate Travis picking. You know Travis picking? So Hendrix gives a textbook reply and then rips off some, Chet Atkins kind of Travis picking. And the guy realizes, oops, maybe I picked on the wrong guy. So then, of course, he kind of makes fun of Hendrix. And next thing you know, Hendrix gives like a 3-minute mini concert of, cross-section of his styles. I mean, don't forget, Hendrix been on the road for a long time before he hit it big. I mean, Hendrix was a hell of a guitar player. Yeah, that stuff just don't happen. So anyway, Hendrix winds up, with a 90-minute impromptu concert in Manny's. And of course, back then, not everybody knew who Jimi Hendrix was. But there were a few people in the group that, when he started to play, they realized who that was. And I think the instructor got a little lesson in humility. And if you're a guitar guy out there, you may have heard of a guitarist, Danny Gatton. Danny was from, I want to say Elmira, New York. So it's in the Elmira, New York, or D.C., around there. Excuse me. And anyway, Gatton was such a dynamite player, one of those fast jazz guys. Excuse me, that the fast jazz guys. Anyway, we'll just kind of scratch that. So anyway, Hendrix rocks. And so does this sound familiar? Ooh, it's a little sour. Ooh, that sounded kind of sweet. Why does it sound so bad? Tupelo honey. Honey, baby, from the tree, you can't trace us. Road to freedom, you can't help us, but our eyes can see. Men in granite, men in black tights, men on honor and chivalry. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey. She's an angel, angel of the first degree. She's sweet. Guys, hadn't played very much lately. Sorry about that. And anyone remember Squeeze, a little band called Squeeze? And a little song you might have heard of, Black Coffee in Bed. Let's turn this around. And I'm sure everybody remembers that little Squeeze and Black Coffee in Bed. And let's see if we can maybe slow it down a little bit. Okay. How about that, guys? We're doing pretty well. We're hanging in there at 149, 10 minutes to 2 on the Abby Kaufman Show at DemocracyRadioNetwork.com. I am your somewhat politically savvy host, Abby Kaufman. And we just thought we'd play a little bit for you, just kind of change the mood a little bit on the old broadcast. Let's see if we can do something else you might like. How about? Oh, how about this? I don't want to go to Chelsea. That was a little. I don't want to go to Chelsea by who else but the great Elvis Costello. Well, let's see if those old decongestants starting to kick in yet. We are cranking now, aren't we? I doubt we would get all this down, but you never know. Now, see, I think we could collaborate. Oh, what I say, Ray Charles? Well, it's hard to ignore a little Chuck Berry. Why would you hate on Fashion Island? Well, we don't really know who you are doing. Uh, about that home. So what are we doing here? Ladies and gentlemen, it is almost 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and we are looking pretty good thanks to the old guitar. My voice is holding out a little bit, and we're actually going to stay here and keep you guys entertained at the democracyradionetwork.com. I am. Who am I? I'm Abby Kaufman, your semi savvy, somewhat politically savvy political host. And we are here live on the democracyradionetwork.com. Give us a call at 949 629 3820 and let us know what's going on in your world. Any guitar players out there? Any good ones? Really good ones? Because I suck, but it's always good to play with good people. And let's how about a little slow? How about a little slow jazz progression? Oh, that's the little break to it. Maybe I'm amazed, and don't you really like that? Let's see. How about some elementary Travis Picking here? It would be really nice if I would quit hitting my headstock against the table, but I'll in due time. Let's see if we mails to check in on while we're doing this. And how about that? Absolutely nothing. Let's, you know what? Let's also check to the degree we can. Let's see if this is logged me out yet. Of course it has. And the old password. About that. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. We are just kind of checking in on our emails here while it's a little slow during the broadcast. Oh, yeah, that's kind of what we wanted. Huh? Still nothing? I guess that's about how it is. Guys. Uh, 212. Hello? Oh, it did. Oh, thank you. Is it too heavy for you? You sure? Okay. Okay. I will tell you what, we'll test it against a bag of grounds in the morning. Good deal. Thanks, Sean. You too. Bye. All right, guys. Let's see. You know what? How about if we go ahead and call this a broadcast for the day? It's about 2:15 on Wednesday. We've been broadcasting since about 2 o'clock, since about noon, and I think we're going to go ahead and call it a day. And thank you everybody for tuning in, and hope you didn't mind a little Abby doing a little guitar playing. And everyone, take care, stay well, and you know what they say: Roger Wilco over and out of there.